Good morning and welcome back to White Mountains Today here on White Mountain TV 16. Dan Houde is here. How are you, Dan?
Good, Rob.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And we're going to chat about MWV Vibe magazine, or Mount
right.
Washington Valley
That's a
Vibe
great idea.
magazine.
Let's
Either
do
way,
it.
let's talk about that. So I think a lot of people hopefully have picked up. This is the latest issue of. We'll let you hold that up because then we can zoom in on that. So that is the latest issue of MWV Vibe magazine, and so. Let's tell people what it's all about.
Well, I've been in the Valley for quite a few years, and I always thought that after we lost the Mountaineer, Steve Eastman, I felt there was a void that was really, missing in the Valley, and it didn't seem like there was anything coming up to replace it. And I've always had a love for all this stuff, the photography part of it, the visual part of it, the stories, the articles. And it's been a dream of mine ever since, really. And then last year I had the opportunity to put it all together, make it all happen, kind of step out on a limb and take a chance on it. And basically it's a collection of unique articles of unique people in the Valley, the events that are happening in the Valley, the nonprofits, the artists, the great areas that we have to visit and recreate in. Anything that is unique to this valley is what we talk about.
And one of the things that I really love about it is that you've got articles like in here there's an article about exercise, getting ready for ski season. There's one about growing vegetables, rock walls, which is one of my favorite articles. I cut that one out.
Yeah.
And then about beer and everything else. So the variety that's in the magazine to me is what's best. Because if I say, you know what, I'm not an outdoor enthusiast. I don't I don't need to read that. Sure, a little bit.
Yeah.
But you've got such a variety of stuff that if I don't want to read the outdoor article, I don't have to. I probably will. But there is so much variety.
Yeah, and because of that, it's been very appealing to all ages. I hear from teenagers a lot. I hear from the older folks that remember stories or want to know more or want to tell me one of their stories.
Yeah.
It's a wide range market that we're appealing to, and it's happening pretty naturally. It's we don't have to go far to find these stories. They're out there. We dig a little bit deeper than the regular publications that are out there, and sure enough, there's plenty of content out there, and we try to make it type of a seasonal thing, so we're trying to talk about winter things right here, and the front cover is showing winter hiking nearby. All the stories happen right here in the Valley, so we might be talking about hiking or beer or whatever, but it's all, it's food related to the Valley, it's beer related to the Valley, it's all things that are happening right here in the Mount Washington Valley.
Yeah, and we've talked about it before, and the Mount Washington Valley has so many things to offer. I mean, such a great variety, and so being able to have a magazine which kind of fills that niche. I'll get a copy, and I'll start reading an article, and then I start reading another article, and and I love, I miss the old days where you had a magazine and you could just kind of open it and just sit there and read stuff and enjoy article after article.
Right.
I think so many of those magazines are gone, and so being able to do this, and again, and then there's the articles are written by people I know, they're about people I know, they're about places I know, and that's one of the great things. And then all this stuff that all of a sudden I'm like, I didn't know that. I've been here for 30 years. I didn't know that.
I think when you can read an article, even if it's just scanning it and learn something, and walk away going, wow, I didn't know that. I mean, all the articles are, we try to make them appealing, whether to people that live here, to people that visit here, people that have a second home here. We're trying to make this as appealing as possible to a wide audience, and it's, like I said, it's not very difficult to do that.
Right.
I mean, we all are very proud of the place that we live, and even if you just come up here to visit a couple times a year, you still have that pride, that sense of pride. We go up there all the time. We're the #1 ski town in the United States, number 2 in the entire North America. That's something to talk about. That said, that doesn't mean that, we all know that we have a lot of ski areas in the Valley here, so why is there a hiker on the front cover? Well, it's not just about skiing. We already know that skiing is fantastic in the Valley, so we put a little bit more emphasis on the things that you might not know about. Winter hiking is something that is becoming more and more popular, and it's absolutely beautiful when you get up there and you're surrounded by snow-covered trees and just all this incredible scenery. So we talk about that here, and the big thing about hiking in the winter is you want to be safe.
Right.
A lot of people are somewhat intimidated by, well, what if I go out there and I hurt myself or whatever, but we talk about how to be prepared when you go out there, and we contacted David Lotman, who's a search and rescue guy in the valley. He's a mountain guide, and he basically breaks it all down for us. So all of our writers are professionals from the valley,
Right.
and they have a passion about what they're writing about, and that's what makes this work. And then we back it all up with big, bold photography. The Mount Washington Observatory was kind enough to write this article for us, and this is basically how to read Mount Washington weather. So whether you're going out for a walk, a hike, or a backcountry ski, you take a look around and you can actually learn a lot about what you see out there. And then, of course, we have our phones. There are apps you can download. And this is the kind of stuff right here that makes it all worthwhile right here. If you're not into hiking, we cover food and farming. I really am I'm a big supporter of local agriculture.
Yeah.
So even during the winter season, we have a lot of information here on how to get winter foods and where to go. This page right here, this is all the areas in the valley that sell local products, local foods. And we cover not just North Conway, but we cover Bretton Woods and Berlin, Gorham, Freiburg, down to Tamworth. So we try to cover the wide range of the valley, and the food and farming is just one piece of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, I've said this to you before. My favorite page is always the last page, which is the "Did you know?"
Yeah.
Which is just little snippets of information. And I always kind of like going through, going, "Oh yeah, I knew that. Oh yeah, I knew that. Oh, I didn't know that." So it's kind of fun just to read that and get the facts. I've been doing bus tours for 20 years, and one of the fun things to me about doing tours and finding lore and information is that it's all different.
Right.
Depending on where you get it, there's the basis of truth, like the origin of Mount Chocorua and
Right.
the name and everything else. And there's several different stories. They all kind of center on one thing, but then they kind of branch out. It's kind of like you pick your favorite. Sure. But it's so great to be able to find out new information, and sometimes finding out things you're like, wow, that's a nice little tidbit of information. Right. It's great to get big information, but I'm a big tidbit kind of guy.
And we do that purposely too. Every article will basically have little sidebars and call-outs or infographics, and believe me, I see how people they'll pick it up and they'll thumb through it, and if they see something that they read quickly that they like, then they'll take it home with them. So it actually works out pretty well, and we have a lot of stories that are based on that assumption right there, that people don't have a lot of time. They don't have 4 or 5 hours to sit there and read every. So I hear about it all the time where people say, I brought the magazine home last month. I'm halfway through it. There's people who read it cover to cover all in one sitting.
Right.
But really the beauty of it is that it's all short collections of articles. This article here is written by Donna over at Tin Mountain, who is a professional on the outdoorsy stuff, like these critters right here that we don't really see that often. So we cover the bobcats and the fishers and the snowshoe hares, and so it's great to have Tin Mountain aboard. We're supporting them. We tell people about their programs, about their camps, and they help us out with the content, and then we get the visuals to back it all up.
Right. Now, where can you get a copy?
So that's the big question. Believe it or not, it's in about 300 locations around the valley. I get people that call and say, "There's no way," but it's true. It's all over the place. But really, the easiest way to do it is we all got to go to the grocery store. So Hannaford and Shaw's are typically the best places. But a lot of the local coffee shops, a lot of the local restaurants, the Flatbreads, the Eastern Slope, the Met, Frontside Grind, and then even out of the valley down in Tamworth, the other store, the Lyceum, the distillery. If you go to the website, which is MWVVibe.com, there's a link that is called Where to Find Vibe.
Very
and
cool.
Just go there and it'll drop down in every single location. Well, not
everybody.
A lot of them, because we continue building, and I'm finding it in places I didn't even bring it to. So people are kind of grabbing them by the bulk, at Hannaford or whatever, and they're putting them in their lodges or their inns or whatever, which is totally fine with me, because it just kind of spreads the love and gets a little bit more recognition for the advertisers, and so it works out fantastic.
That's great.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
Well, it's such a great magazine, and there's always new stuff, and I'm sure you're deep into the spring issue.
We are very much into the spring issue. We have, once again, I always say, like, how in the world are we going to get this all done? But it's all coming together. It'll be out by late March, and we may even be planning another magazine for next winter.
Really?
Heard first here, in addition to Vibe.
All right. Well, cool. Well, we'll keep tabs on that.
Yep.
Well, Dan, good to see you, and make sure you pick up your copy of MWV Vibe magazine, and I'm sure we'll be chatting with you soon.
Absolutely. And go Patriots.
Go Patriots. Have a great day, and we'll be back here in a minute.